Hi guys, it's Johnsel, and this is part one of the Friends apartment speed build. Part two with Chandler and Joey's apartment should be out later this week. So for those of you who've come from Reddit, thank you very much for checking out my channel, and thank you for all the kind words, because it really makes putting a lot of time into these builds very, very worth it. So yeah, I decided to build this because I have just finished my first lot of uni exams, and I have been binge watching Friends. I say I've done that because my uni exams have ended, but I'm not going to lie, I do that all the time anyway. So, of course, I decided to build their apartments on Sims. Now, I started with Monica's Rachel apartment because, well, I just thought it would be the more fun one to do, the easy one, because there's a lot more clutter in it. The outside of this building doesn't look like the outside of the buildings in Friends. That's because I had to find a big enough lot in the apartment world, and this was the only one. So outside, I kind of made it look a lot more like the building that it was set on, with lots of glass windows, matched the wall pattern, and then built the apartments inside, because they didn't fill the whole space, but they took quite a bit of it. But I tried to make them inside as accurate as possible. Um, and I have added Monica and Rachel's balcony, which does go to the very edge, so it is a proper balcony. So yeah, I was working on the kitchen here. I had a lot of problems with this sink because I still hate the fact that on Sims there is not a diagonal for counters. You can have you can put them on diagonals, but they always have that little gap, and it really, really annoys me. So I use move objects to try and work them together. But I did not notice for quite a while that this sink still had the corner top in it. Um, that does get fixed later. If you do download it on the gallery, that is fixed, so do not worry. But yeah, I wish Sims would come up with a way of just creating like a corner countertop, because we've got one for a normal corner, but not one on the diagonal. And I can't criticize this game very much because I absolutely love it, but that is one of the few things that do annoy me. Also, I didn't realize they had these, and when I realized they had the blue sort of counter long ones, it fit perfectly with Monica's kitchen. It's really nice, and it came with a lot of clutter on it anyway, um, which was nice because I often find it a bit difficult to try and match cluster objects to the room. These were also perfect, the complete right color. Some of this build was a little difficult. I had to get creative with it, but other parts, it was literally like Sims knew I wanted to create the Friends apartment build and had just laid everything out for me. So that was quite nice. I'm actually quite proud of myself with this build as well, because normally when I'm building, I'm so erratic with my building. Like, I will just start a room, get fed up, and go on to another room. But with this one, I actually managed to stick quite a lot, doing one room at a time. And I thought it was quite good, because normally I will literally just like put a bed in a room, do the walls, and then I'll just give up and be like, oh no, I'm doing another room. I don't want to do this one anymore. So yeah, I managed to do this one quite well, I think. Trying to find a round table, and this one I wish I had the laundry pack, because it has that bigger round table and I had to go for a very small one. I went with lots of different odd chairs because I've noticed throughout the series the chairs are always odd, which I thought seems a bit weird for Monica. She's a bit of a perfectionist, but they do change. But I went for ones that just generally sort of matched, and then I used moved objects again to sort of move it slightly out the way so that the kitchen was still usable. And then I went for the floor. Now, on Reddit, some of you guys have said, oh, I'm not too sure about the floor, but that's because the floor constantly changes in Friends. One time, with my picture reference, this was the closest I could get. So I just went with it. But yeah, they do change quite a bit, and I just went with one. Generally, they're wooden, and I thought this one was quite nice. I think in a minute you're going to see me fix this sink. I don't know when, but it's really bugging me, so I hope it's soon. Yeah, so I was just adding some more decorations, because in between the fridge and the window, there's just some little plates and stuff, some decorations, maybe, I don't know, left over from Monica's grandma. But yeah, that was fun, quite nice. Yeah, I don't think I had too much here. I think I just add that, a shelf, and a light. I think I forgot to decorate that table there, which bothers me, but I went with it. Oh, I remember at this point I was trying to add some kind of coffee machine onto there or something like that. I didn't think move objects was on. Then I found out it's just 'cause you have to place it on a counter, because I'm a little bit dumb sometimes. So yeah, here we go. I'm fixing the sink now, and as you can see, we just get this gap, which I absolutely hated. And if you don't get the gap, then you get it into the sink. I haven't player tested this yet, so I'm not sure if that sink works. If you are going to download it, then, and it doesn't work, I just hit my mic, then I'd say just move the sink normally. just have it normally. You will have a gap in the corner, but if you want to be able to play with it, then it's what you'll have to do. But I was just doing this for aesthetic purposes to begin with. Though I do normally play test all my builds, but I haven't been able to yet for this one. All the ones on the gallery that I have are player tested, so do not worry about that. Yeah, I was just adding some clutter here because obviously Monica has a lot of cooking equipment, being a chef. She's got a lot of spoons. I feel like I put some like spoon holders and cookie jars, which kind of had quite an old-fashioned vibe, and I felt like they would probably be something Monica had left. What had been left for Monica by her grandma. But yeah, these are the things I'm on about. But yeah, I just thought I'd decorate the shelves a little bit because if you look in the show, her shelves are quite cluttered. I mean, I suppose she's a chef, so she's got a lot of cooking items. And I put a little plant there. I just like to decorate things with plants. There's not a plant there in the show. I just throw plants everywhere when I don't know what to put there. So yeah, and I shrunk this down. On Here's the thing with Sims, the clutter items, a lot of them don't go on shelves themselves. So a lot of the time, I will just like shrink things down and then use the 9 and 0 keys and the Alt key to sort of place them, because otherwise they won't go on the shelves. And at the moment, it just doesn't really make sense if I'm putting like pens on kitchen shelves and photo frames on kitchen shelves and stuff. So it would be nice if Sims did create some more clutter items. I've got to say, the two things I mentioned are pretty much my only problem with Sims. But yeah, it would be nice some more clutter items. I thought we'd get a few more with Laundry Pack, which I haven't downloaded, but I have seen lots of reviews for. And we get a few, but there aren't that many. So I think it would just be something really nice. Maybe some more kitchen items. A wider range of photo frames, maybe, because they only have ones for apples and pears and stuff. So now I think I am about to move on to the bathroom. Now I was trying to find a door that was purple, because in the show they're purple. I went with that bluey green in the end because I sort of gave up and was like, I'm not going to be able to find one. I actually rearrange. Oh, if I'm pausing at any point in this video, like in the footage, it's because I was looking at reference pictures, because as much as I love Sims, I couldn't do not Sims, Friends. I couldn't do this by memory. I have been binge watching the show for like 10 years, but my memory is not that good. So I did have to go and check back at reference pictures every now and then. Yeah, I had to extend the bathroom because although the 3x2 worked, I wouldn't have been able to add like extra things in there, like the laundry basket and stuff. And I thought that's really the touch of the bathroom. That's what makes it. So I thought I'd extend it. It didn't make much of a difference to the build. So yeah, it's actually usable as well. I did worry that if I hadn't have extended it, like the toilet and the sink wouldn't have been usable, but this is. So yeah, oh, and I had an absolute pain trying to find a wallpaper, because in the show, it's, I think, like it's pink on the bottom and then white on the top. And I went through pretty much every single one where it's a split, like either with brick or with tile or wood, and you just can't find it. Like they have loads where it's the wrong way around, like see like pink and white, or later on in the Chandler and Joey's build, you see I needed green and white, but they always have them the wrong way around. So in the end, I think I just went with this, or one I'm about to choose in a minute, and stuck with that because I thought I can't get them right around, but as long as the colours are relatively accurate, you'll be able to tell. Also, I am going to move this bath in a minute because I noticed it was sticking into the wall. Oh, it's done. Yeah. So I did just leave it, and at the moment I'm trying to find a curtain because I could have used the vampire pack bath with a curtain that came with it, but that curtain's always closed. And I thought it would be quite nice to just be able to add a curtain that wasn't. But showed how Monica and Rachel do have a curtain that goes all the way across their bathroom. And I couldn't get one that worked perfectly, but I got one that kind of showed the gist of it. For this picture, I actually used the one of Chandler in the bathroom when he's having a bubble bath, steals Monica's bubble bath, and the curtain is down at the bottom. Now, I was using reference pictures here. The bit above the toilet is actually my proudest bit because it's really, really accurate. And yeah, they've just got, Monica's towels, her fancy towels. And this bit, I was just trying to find pictures. I mean, that picture is there in the show, but it's not that exact one. I was just trying to find one that represents them, because obviously I've had to improvise a little bit with this, because a lot of the walls you can't see because, well, they don't exist in the filming because it's where the cameras will be. So I have had to improvise a little bit and just sort of thinking what would be there or just finding something that fitted with the room, even if I didn't necessarily think it would fit with the characters, just because I didn't want to make those back walls look too bare. Because if you do want to play through with the characters, you don't really want to be playing through and everything's like built and there's one wall that's just completely plain. So I did just try and fill them in a bit. But yeah. Oh, she also has this little table thing here. I did stick that halfway through the wall because there wasn't anything on the other side, and I just thought I didn't want it blocking the rest of the bathroom. So yeah. But yeah. Still asleep. Oh, when I added another mirror here, I wasn't quite sure if there was another mirror, but I added one. But yeah, I just made this because, to be honest, I absolutely just love Friends. And when I was about 5, I remember it being on in my house. And I remember thinking, oh, this is the worst show ever. This is rubbish. I think it must have been series 10 because when I was 5, it was actually 2004. And it was the last series that was on TV. So, well, as in playing. And yeah, I remember thinking, oh, it's such a rubbish show. It's absolutely, I just don't like this. And obviously it was because I was 5 and I didn't understand it. Because no 5-year-old is really going to understand all the jokes and Friends. And then I think I was supposed to be about 11 or 12, and I watched it one time at my dad's house. And then my uncle on my mum's side, he bought me this massive, massive box set, every single one. And any time I was at my mum's, I would just play it all the time. I would just constantly play it. Oh, here I'm trying. In the show, that bit was slightly raised, so I was trying to find a platform, but it didn't work. But yeah, I would just binge watch it all the time. I loved it. I cannot tell you guys how many times I have seen the show from like episode 1 to the final episode. It literally must be hundreds. I honestly think I know every single line in that show. But yeah, it is pretty much one of my favorite shows ever. I'll just watch it when if I'm feeling like, and if I'm in the mood or anything, I'll just put it on. So I thought I would build this. Here I'm just trying to find the curtains, because one thing I hate about this is you can't place curtains unless they're on a window. I mean, you can place them, but they automatically jump to the window, and I was having such a hard time just trying to get these curtains to stay in the right place. You'll find this with a lot of things in this video. There'll be like things I'm trying to place on shelves, and it will take me about 10 years because they just do not want to place where I want them to. If you see all the trouble I had with this curtain, that happened a lot. I mean, I'm sure there's a way around it, but I didn't know it at the time. So I just tried to make it work. But yeah, it does work eventually. There we go. I think it's finished now. And then, yeah, I got it to work finally. I think I removed these walls here because I put them there because in the show there's a little bit that juts out slightly, but it just didn't really look right in the end. The walls that jut out in the show aren't that far, and this just looked too much. So I just got rid of them. I can't remember if I put some kind of... Oh, I know what I do. I put some kind of frame around the door so it just shows them a bit better. But yeah, I didn't actually know there were chairs here because normally you don't see them in the show because they're blocked by that armchair. But yeah, there are chairs here. There was a really good picture online of the floor plans. I'll link it in the description because if you guys want to have a go at this, then it's honestly it helped me so much. Like, there's just a floor plan of Monica's apartment and then Chandler and Joey's apartment, and it just shows where everything is. And I used that a lot while I was making this because there are bits you kind of can't see in the show and there aren't always pictures. So that was really, really helpful, especially when it came to this bit, because I had no idea there was a desk there. Absolutely no idea. So yeah, that helped me with that. But yeah, I keep finishing this bit. I think I was trying to look for a rug because there are a lot of rugs and I just could not find one that fit. I was trying to find one that went with the colour, and I can't remember if I go with this one or not, but yeah, it didn't always work. I've had to use about 10 different rugs in this. There are probably duplicates of the same rug, but I'm not sure. I'm pausing at this bit because I was trying to find what colour these were. At some point I will fix these ottomans because although they sort of fill the gap, that little overlap was really bothering me. So I do end up moving them so that they're sort of placed into the wall, but you can't see it obviously. But they look better in the room and you don't have that overlap that sort of scans about as you move. This is where I was trying to find a sort of replacement for that wall just to show the separation in the room, but none of the pillars just really worked. I was trying to hold down Alt and see if I could place them a bit better, but it wasn't working. and I couldn't really get a purpley colour, so I just left it and thought I'll come to it later, and I'll figure something out, which I did, which was nice. But yeah, I did have to give up on that because it didn't work. It wasn't working, and sometimes that just happens. You're trying to do something, and it just on here you're trying to replicate something, and it just does not want to work for you, which I've come across so many times. Like when I was doing my Windenburg Castle build, when I was making that waterfall, like it was absolutely doing my head because I could not get the rocks placed where I wanted them to place. They kept jumping up. It worked in the end. I didn't give up on that one. But yeah, and I think I had to remove the glass windows behind because they just looked too visible. At this point, I was trying to figure out which sort of counter represented the one on the show the best. I do end up going along with that one. It kind of annoyed me. I couldn't place the TV right in the middle. It had to be on one side or the other. Which I went with, and I just added some plants and stuff to sort of balance it out a little bit. But yeah, it does bother me that you can't just place them in the middle and then have nothing either side. I was trying to find something that would replicate Monica's French poster that she has in the back here. I'll be totally honest, I cannot remember for the life of me what I put. But they do have a lot of nice posters in, like once you buy the expansion packs, they do come with a lot of nice posters. They're really good for like decorating teenagers' rooms, kids' rooms, or later on when I'm doing Joey's room, there's a lot of film posters, and that was really good. But I couldn't find one that had that sort of classier vibe for Monica's apartment. I do find one eventually. I can't remember what I put. I used that, I think. I used this one because it was the only one that kind of had the same colour scheme. And I used some photo frames above because she has a little like half wreath thing. That's what I'm trying to replicate here, but she has a little half wreath thing, which I used the 3 photo frames that come with the vampire pack, shrink them down a little bit, put them in the same colour, instead of using some kind of wreath, because I wanted to try and do it as accurately as possible, which is also why I put this little speaker here, because they have a little speaker next to their TV, which I thought was quite cute, and I will put a plant on it later on, like they have on the show. At this point, I thought I won't be able to because it's got that kind of arched top, but I made it work, which I was quite happy about. I think we changed Monica's door later to this blue one, like the blue one that's same for Rachel's door. If we don't, it's going to drive me nuts, and I will have to go back and fix that, but hopefully we do. Cannot remember. And yeah, this is when I started on the living room. I was trying to find a rug that worked because the rug is quite long, and if I like sized up a lot of these smaller rugs, they'd be too wide and they'd either go into the kitchen. It just didn't quite work. So I was trying to find something that worked like best for it. I think this might be the one where the vampire pack comes with a runner that's split so you can make it as long as you want. I think I sized that up massively and used the 2 end pieces to form the rug. Also, I love this sofa for this build because not many of the sofas come with like pillows and stuff, and I feel like the pillows are such a massive part of Monica's apartment, all of them perfectly placed. So I absolutely loved the fact that this one came with pillows and cushions and stuff, because I really felt like that's what the apartment would be like. I wish we had a little telephone unit here because we don't have one, and I would just love one because there's one there, and there's loads of times when I've got a little end table and I'm thinking, oh, it will go here like a telephone base unit. I know barely anybody has landlines anymore, at least in the UK we don't, but I thought it would have been nice. Yeah, here's an area that I used the floor plan for again. Yeah, but here's me using the Victorian sheets. But yeah, I had to use a floor plan here because I didn't know there was a little chair with an ottoman there. Or I think that's an ottoman, like the tiny ones. I don't know. So I used the floor plan. Like I said, I'll link that because it's really, really helpful. Honestly got me through this build. The build would not be anywhere near as accurate as it is if I hadn't used that. So that's what I mean. There's a little wreath in the show. I'll link the reference pictures that I used, but there's a little kind of wreath thing in the show. There wasn't anything to represent it. I was looking through the plants to find something, but it just wasn't. This is when I'm resizing it because I'd realised I'd made it completely too wide, which I was fine with. I just gone with a base shape at the beginning, and I thought I can rearrange it if I need to. So I did tuck it in a little bit because it was too wide. And I do the same on Joey and Chandler's apartment because just completely messed up the proportions of the rooms. But the very quick fix was fine. I got that out. I knew that didn't come in that blue plant thing didn't go with Monica's apartment, but I just loved it. I really want to use that in a build sometime. And then I was just trying to throw some things on. I imagine the briefcase was probably Chandler's going to work. Just adding, maybe the backpack was Joey's. I feel like that would probably be something he owned, a bit childish. But at the moment I was looking at references again here because they have little picture frames on this wall here, and I was trying to find one that fit. And I could have just left it. I could just put any old size, but I really wanted to make this as accurate as possible and really give it the proper, you just look at it and you instantly recognize where it is. It's me fixing the ottomans because they were absolutely driving me mad. Like, I needed to fix them. Every time I moved the screen, it just showed them overlapping. Oh, and I was adding in some end tables here because they're just little end tables, adding some plants on top, just a bit of decoration, just make it feel like more lived in, because a lot of the time with Sims, if you don't add the clutter, it can pretty much feel like those houses that are just built and that's it. You move straight in. It's got all the furniture, but there's no homely touch. There's nothing that makes it actually feel lived in. So it was nice. I just thought it'd be nice to add a bit more clutter, so it felt more like their house. On this, I just added the letters. There's a little table there. I thought Monica would maybe use that as a place to keep the letters. Those letters are a bit too messy for Monica, I suppose. And add a little plant because I'm just trying to fill that space a bit more because it could look quite empty. Like I said, I had to improvise a bit with the walls here because it did look quite empty, because obviously that would be where the audience would sit and look in, like live audience. So I was just trying to make it so that you didn't sort of turn around the camera and just see this horrendously blank purple wall. So I was trying to add a bit more in. I do add some more pictures in later. Like I said, just so it's less harsh on the eye, really. And there are things there. You do get to see them occasionally in Friends. And like I said, I use a floor plan again. Here I was just doing the corridor. Now, I'm going to be honest to you guys. To those of you who've seen this on Reddit, you've all said, oh, have you added all the junk in Monica's closet? I haven't. I did just leave the closet an empty room with the door down there. Now, I am thinking I'm going to make a Richard sim, and I am just going to lock him in the closet. I do realize he'd probably die, but I might lock him in the closet and then just screenshot it and put a little picture up. I'm not sure. Though, to be fair, if any of you do download this, you can add whatever you want in there. That's partly why I kind of left it empty. Like, if you wanted to add a Richard sim or if you wanted to add a bunch of clutter, then you could. So, yeah, I didn't fill it in, but I did include the fact that there's a door there, Monica's secret messy cupboard. So yeah, I had a little run here because, like I said, there's so many rugs in these apartments. So many rugs. I've got to be honest. This one that came with the vampire pack, the runner that you can join together, has been the most helpful one, like, to date. When I was doing Windenburg Castle, I found it really helpful just because you can make it whatever size you want. It's just really, really good. As I was saying earlier, this platform is slightly raised in the show, so I changed the wood here because I thought I can't create a raised platform. I did kind of think about doing it with like tables lowered down into the ground, but I just thought it wouldn't be usable then. So I just changed the wood to kind of symbolize that it was a slightly different area. And you can change that. You might not like that, but that's what I just kind of did to sort of separate it from the rest of the room, because in the show it is like that. And yeah, I was just rearranging pictures here because there are a lot of pictures on this part of the wall. So I was just trying to fit them so they didn't look too jumbled, but so they looked like they were deliberately placed there, not just thrown onto the wall. And I was adding Monica's little side table. This does actually very slightly go into the bathroom, but fortunately you can't see it because of the sink. It's honestly only the tiniest corner anyway, so it wouldn't matter and it's still workable. But yeah, just adding those little decorations that make it their apartment. Don't know why I got that umbrella out. Honestly don't. I was just looking for something to put on this table here, and I was like, ooh, an umbrella. Whacked it out, and I was like, yeah, this is too big. I'm going to put this away. It does not work. But yeah, I was just adding the little decorations here. I think we're about to start on Monica's room very shortly, because this is what I did. I shrunk these down twice, changed them to blue. I don't know if the doors will still be usable. I will go player test this before I post Joey and Chandler's one, because I have added people just for player testing. If they're not, it's really simple. You could just remove them. I will just remove them. They were only there really to sort of show, because in the show the walls have slight indents and stuff, and just the more patterns on the walls, and I used that to show that, but it doesn't really matter. They're not essential to the build, but yeah, they can be deleted easily. You know, it doesn't take away anything. Another rug. Yeah, like I said, I was just trying to add more decoration to this area. I really hated the fact it was so bare, and as much as I liked improvising, I was like, I was really worried about adding something that just really took away from the Friends feel of the apartment. Like, I didn't want to add a painting that just did not go at all. And yeah, I don't know why. Hi guys, it's Johnsel, and this is part 1 of the Friends apartment speed build. Part 2 with Chandler and Joey's apartment should be out later this week. So for those of you who've come from Reddit, thank you very much for checking out my channel, and thank you for all the kind words, because it really makes putting a lot of time into these builds very, very worth it. So yeah, I decided to build this because I have just finished my first lot of uni exams, and I have been binge watching Friends. I say I've done that because my uni exams have ended, but I'm not going to lie, I do that all the time anyway. So, of course, I decided to build their apartments on Sims. Now, I started with Monica's Rachel apartment because, well, I just thought it would be the more fun one to do, the easy one, because there's a lot more clutter in it. The outside of this building doesn't look like the outside of the buildings in Friends. That's because I had to find a big enough lot. I went with that instead. But this is Monica's room. I've noticed that in Friends, all of the beds have like a bedside table on each side and a little lamp. I was just trying to add a bit of decoration. I think I do end up going for a second lamp on there, but I'm not sure. But yeah, this is Monica's room. Just adding little bits of decoration. Her room's obviously very neat, very tidy. She has this sort of 3-part poster above her bed, and I was trying to think what would best represent that, and I go in the end for this little one that's got 3 parts to it, but isn't quite the same. But I thought it kind of worked with the room. The colours went. It's this one, and it went well enough with the room. I did for a second think about using 3 of those, but the colours just didn't work. It didn't look right, so I stuck with the ones that I had used there. I was quite happy with that. Yeah. There aren't many sort of posters in The Sims that sort of replicate the ones Monica and Rachel had, and I'm sure there's probably some custom content, but I tend not to use custom content in my games just because it sort of looks weird when you're building. Like, it kind of gets a bit messy. I mean, the custom content is brilliant. Some people, like, some of the stuff people create is absolutely amazing, but I tend not to use it just because to be honest, I'm just quite happy with the stuff that comes with all the expansion packs. I don't have all the expansion packs, don't have all the stuff packs. And I already feel like there's a lot to play with, so I haven't used any custom content yet. That's not to say that won't change in the future. I haven't used any mods yet either. I do use the Move Objects cheat, and occasionally I do use Motherload, but I haven't used any mods yet. The one mod I am probably going to use when I get down to my Let's Plays is the one that allows you to control the pets, because I do have a little household that's like my life. It's got my 2 dogs, and it was really annoying at the start. They just go where they want to go. It's so difficult when they want feeding, because even if there's food in the bowl, you sort of have to call them to it. They don't always just go and eat it, so it does make it a little bit difficult if you don't want them to be sad. So when I do a Let's Play, I probably will download that mod so I can control the pet. Also, because I think it would be quite nice. It would be better in developing a storyline for those pets, being able to control them. Yeah, I just think that'd be nice. But yeah, I don't really use mods. I don't really use custom content. I was trying to add flowers onto here, trying to add a larger one. I do end up going with this, but they all had that weird shadow because, of course, of where I'd shrunk it down. I ended up going with this one anyway because I thought it'll look all right. But I didn't want to use another one of those little white rectangular ones. I wanted to use something new, and that kind of was a bigger plant. But yeah, that worked well. I was just adding the flooring here. The flooring in Monica and Rachel's room is the same. It's just normal sort of cream carpet. So that was fine. And I'm adding her little desk here. Little Monica desk where she does all maybe her planning for what she's going to clean this week. Again, I was using the floor plan here because you can't always see these things, but nicely the floor plan has some colours on. If I can find whoever made those, that would be brilliant. But at the moment, for now, I'll just link it. Just adding some pens and stuff, just to make it seem like a bit more of a used desk. And I just really like that cat picture. I know there's a picture above there. I don't know. I just felt like that cat picture really, really worked with the room, and I just felt like it had that bit of a '90s vibe. So it sort of worked with the whole apartment. So I did really like that. Um, yeah, I'm just adding like extra furniture into Monica's room here. Um, Again, I was trying to use the greens and yellows on that just to match it with the room a bit more, because obviously you've got the green ottomans there. So I added that. I'm just trying to find a chair that works at the moment for this. This came in with the mirrors. I can't remember what pack it's for. It'll show on there, but yeah, I really like this because it's sort of a more beauty vanity one rather than normal desk. So I think it'll work quite well in sort of teenage girls' rooms and if you're trying to do a master bedroom. So I really do like that. And it went really well for Monica and Rachel's rooms in this. Like I said, I was adding a picture there. This is one of the ones where it wasn't actually there in the show, but I just felt like the room needed a little bit more because it looked a bit bare without it there. To be fair, some people might prefer it without, but I am someone who likes a lot of things on the walls in my Sims houses. I do add a lot of clutter because I just prefer. I mean, to be honest, before I'd really got into Sims, I did just do things very modern, very minimalist, and then I started watching like Deligracy and The Sims Supply and Devon Bumpkin, and they all add quite a bit of clutter. And I was like, actually, I really like that. I hadn't really thought of using clutter before, so I got into the habit of using clutter, and now I want my walls to be covered in paintings. I want them to look like there's just so like just make them more vibrant and stuff. I don't like bare walls in this game anymore. Though I'll To be fair, if I'm doing a modern build, I generally keep the clutter to a low because I like that minimalist vibe. But yeah, in this, it just didn't seem like it would really fit to have bare walls. I feel like Monica would put a lot of decoration into her house, want everything to be very pretty and perfect. At this point, this is where I was trying to find the right bed because I went with the spare room at this point. It has that kind of very patterned quilt, and I knew this wasn't exactly the same as when Rachel had been living in the room. But yeah, we've got another one of those three pictures there. I changed the colours to go with the room a bit more. But yeah, I have gone with the spare room vibe in this one rather than Rachel's room. I'm just adding those two bedside tables again. I think I use a lot of the same bedside tables because the other ones in the available were just quite modern, or they were either modern or kind of gothic, and I just didn't think it went very well. So I do use a lot of the same ones, which is fine. But yeah, I used this one again here, and I think I shrink down one of the larger plants because if there is a picture in which you can see, yeah, I've shrunk this down, and it has a plant just like that kind of size, and I really liked it, so I thought I'm going to add that in. I'll find a way to do it. So yeah, I just shrunk it down. I've got Rachel's dresser here. If you guys want to know which packs each of these came in, like you didn't catch it in the video, if just comment below and I'll do my best to reply to all of them. I'll just quickly nip onto Sims and see what's in my game. But yeah, I have added. I think I had some little hearts on the wall here. Like I said, I had to improvise quite a bit because I didn't want the walls to be bare. I wanted to sort of, you know, create that vibe, and also I didn't want to add windows where there aren't windows in the show. So I do add windows in each of the bedrooms, but I keep them to where they are in the show because I could add just as many as I wanted to fill up space, but I just thought that wasn't true to the actual show, wasn't true to the apartment, so I went with that. Also, those little empty canvas paintings were there for decoration. So yeah, this is the end. This is the house, just the main living area going through. I don't know why this is played 3 times. I'm going to go fix that. I'm just going to be silent till moves on to see a larger shot of the apartment, which I just thought was quite nice. Just be able to see the apartment a bit more. And now I'm going to just do a little tour of all the individual rooms, so you can see them all, see the little bits of clutter I've put in. And yeah, so I think we'll go into Monica's room first, and then we'll be going to Rachel's. But yeah, for this, to get that kind of view, I did not know how to get that view, and I searched it up. You just press tab while you're in like play mode, and it will take you to the cinematic view, which is really, really good if you want to get a better view, sort of your rooms at a better level. Because obviously, when you're looking around with the camera normally, it's quite high up and looking down, more of a bird's eye view. So this is really, really good if you're trying to see, even if you're just trying to see if things have been placed correctly on things like that. It's brilliant, and it creates for some really, really nice like tours for the houses. So that's quite good. And yeah, this is Rachel's room. As you can see, I'd finished. There's the little plant I mentioned, and I'd finished adding in decorations. I use those like wall lights a lot because they had a couple in the show, and I just thought they're really, really nice. So yeah, I think that's it. So yeah, like I said, next week, Joey and Chandler's apartment will be up, or sometime this week. I'm hoping to do a build from the notebook soon. I'm going to be starting my Let's Plays. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please like and subscribe and just stay tuned. My Reddit is Necro115. I post a lot of stuff on there, so if you just want to keep updated, then check that out. My gallery ID is Moriarty. I'll link it down below anyway. So if you want to download anything, and if you haven't made a video on anything and you find something new in the gallery, then feel free to download it. But yeah, thanks guys. Had a little mess up. While I was doing the voiceover for this, I realised I hadn't added the bit with Monica and Rachel's actual rooms in, so I've just re-added them. And like I was saying, yeah, I was just adding the rugs and everything to this, and you will get to see the making of Monica